Many people perceive a conflict between science and the Christian faith, and this includes young men and women who are on university campuses. And I can imagine that that perception of conflict could create some issues and concerns and confusion for people who are in college. Bijan, you're a particle physicist, you're a Christian, and you actually go on university campuses from time to time and speak on science-faith issues. What kind of questions do young people on university campuses have about the relationship between science and Christianity, and how do you help them sort through those questions?
Yeah, I speak about science and Christianity on campuses, and sometimes I get a chance at the end to talk to individual students who come and talk to me. What I've found, now this might be different for other people, but in my experience, I don't often come to a situation where a student is really grappling genuinely with a science and faith question. They usually have some other question that has to do with they've really already sort of have a gut feel for what it's going to be like to have a theistic view, and then they worry about some problem like the problem of pain. Why is there so much suffering in the world if there's a good and just God? Or they might have worries like, what am I going to say to my, let's say, parents of this other religion if I were to change? And so those things I find they're much more active in their hearts. But then the science question is sort of the shield outside. Right. And so typically what happens is that they will ask me a question, what about, can't we say that, life is common everywhere because we're seeing all these things, all these planets, for example. And then I explain to them, but unfortunately those planets are, nothing like ours. You couldn't even, if you even planted life there, they wouldn't survive. And then they'll listen to it. They'll kind of like appreciate it. And that sort of like, it almost just takes away, they sort of have put up a small test. And then when that test is passed, then they really want to talk about what they really want to talk about. And that typically ends up being questions of heart, questions of how do you, as a human being, deal with the claims of Christianity, with the consequences of believing Christianity. For example, you could be, concerned about. In my case, for example, when I was a Muslim, convert to Christianity, for me the gospel was too good to be true. That I don't have to do anything, and just say that I'm going to heaven seemed like too good to be true. And for me, that question had to be answered. That was my deepest question, where basically somebody had to explain to me that in the end, had I even done all the good stuff, I was not worthy. And that worked well for my Islamic trained thinking. It's like, oh, actually that makes sense. I actually don't believe that would have been sufficient anyway.
So then really what you're saying is that science-faith discussions really represent an important bridge to real issues that everybody as a human being has to confront when it comes to the truth claims of the Christian faith.
And I don't doubt that there are people who have genuine scientific questions, and that those are blogs. And I think that is one reason by itself to engage in the work of understanding how science and faith work together. And then you have this other category where those are just sort of a front towards a deeper, a more personal question. But I think for either of those reasons, it's very good and very appropriate for us to really integrate the way we think about science with the way we think about our faith.
Thanks.